President Trump says they both agreed to stop the deaths taking place in the war between Russia and Ukraine, and that their teams would begin negotiations in that vein. The US president said he would reach out immediately to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky to inform him of the conversation, and we can now confirm that that call has already taken place. He also said that he'd asked his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, supported by the CIA director, his national security advisor and a special envoy, to lead negotiations that he believes would be very successful. This was the president on Monday.
You talked with Zelensky this week, sir?
Yeah, probably.
By telephone, what's your message?
He wants to make a deal. Let's see. We'll see. We're dealing with him, and I think they both want to make a deal, but we'll have to see. It's got to be done.
What is Zelensky going to
Would have never happened if I were president. This would never have happened. Millions of people are dead. We have numerous people working on numerous different problems. You know, when I left office, wasn't long ago, a little more than 4 years ago, we had no wars, we didn't have problems. Now we got the whole world is blowing up, but we'll put out the fires.
The call between the presidents of Russia and the United States confirmed by the Kremlin.
The telephone conversation between President Putin and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, ended recently. It was a very lengthy telephone conversation. It lasted almost an hour and a half. The heads of states discussed the issues related to the exchange of Russian and U.S. citizens. The President of the United States assured that the American side will fulfill all of the agreements reached. The topic of settlement in Ukraine was also discussed. President Trump spoke in favor of stopping hostilities as soon as possible and resolving the problem by peaceful means. President Putin, for his part, mentioned the need to eliminate the root causes of the conflict.
Ukraine's President Zelensky also confirming earlier this week that he was expecting a visit from Trump administration officials.
This week, some people from the Trump team, serious ones, will be in Ukraine, even before the Munich conference. Then at the Munich conference, I will have some meetings there, including with the Vice President and with President Trump's team. My team will also have separate meetings, talks, work, let's put it this way. And afterwards, there will be productive work in Ukraine with colleagues from the United States of America.
Earlier, the U.S. Defense Secretary also weighed in, here addressing a meeting of Ukraine's military allies at NATO headquarters in Brussels.
We want, like you, a sovereign and prosperous Ukraine. But we must start by recognizing that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective. Chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering. A durable peace for Ukraine must include robust security guarantees to ensure that the war will not begin again. This must not be Minsk 3.0. That said, the United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement.
The war has killed hundreds of thousands of people on both sides of the conflict. February 24th will mark the third-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And while peace talks were held in the early months of that conflict, Western leaders have held no direct talks with Russia since that full-scale invasion in 2022. A failed Ukraine counteroffensive in 2023 has seen Russia continue to make slow but steady gains on the battlefield, as compromises between both warring sides likely to frame any pathway to peace in the weeks and months ahead. Sherman Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.